So there's a big range of strong reactions to this breastfeeding issue and the Time magazine's provocative cover. Mayim Bialik, she is an actress, a neuroscientist, author of the parenting book Beyond the Sling. You may also know her from the 90s sitcom Blossom and her current show, The Big Bang Theory. And she's joining us live from Los Angeles. So great to see you. Nice to have you here. I know that you are an advocate of the attached parenting style that believes that it is beneficial to breastfeed children beyond infancy. You as well also breastfeed your 3-year-old, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, attachment parenting takes no stance on how long you should breastfeed. The notion is to educate people about breastfeeding. If you do bottle feed, it should mimic breastfeeding as much as possible. And in general, the concepts of positive discipline, the concepts of believing that a child has a voice, whether it's a newborn voice or a 1-year-old voice, that's what then forms all your decisions about how long you breastfeed, how long you sleep safely with your child, how long you hold them in a sling, and how long you let their needs really be part of yours.
So tell us about your own experience. Why do you still breastfeed your 3-year-old?
I breastfeed my 3-year-old because he's not done breastfeeding, and I'm not ready to tell him not to. He's absolutely showing the normal progression towards not breastfeeding. I did choose to night wean him at 3. I did not expect to be nursing a 2-year-old, much less a 3-year-old, but it was still mutually desirable. It's nutritionally beneficial. It's immunologically beneficial. It is still a tremendous source of discipline and of bonding that occurs between a mother and a child. And as I said, we are doing all of the things. We are setting boundaries. I do not breastfeed him in public. So to me, those are all the normal pathways. It may not be the time frame that most people think. It's often not the time frame a lot of attachment parenting people think of. We don't all nurse older kids, but the notion that a child's voice matters, that every child is different, that's the basis of attachment parenting. It doesn't have to do with how long you do any of these things.
And at what point do you feel like both you and your child will be finished with the breastfeeding phase of this?
Before high school is what we're taught to say by La Leche League International. No, as I said, he stopped breastfeeding at night when he was 3. I stopped pumping when he was 3 at work. And now he goes days without, and those will keep increasing, and he will be done. And I hope he will be done soon. And if at any point it is not okay with me, then that's a conversation that I will gently have with my child. And that's how we've done it about breastfeeding in public. He can tantrum all he wants. If it's not working for mama to breastfeed in the middle of the supermarket, we can absolutely have that conversation, but I am not going to do something that's not okay with me, and he can't force me to breastfeed him any more than I can force him to breastfeed.
I know you were probably just kidding when you said high school there, but let me ask you this. The cover, Time magazine, the mother who's on that cover, she was asked many questions about that pose on the cover, and she said, you know, people are calling social services on her. They are saying that this is child molestation. How do you answer those critics who really don't understand what this is when you are breastfeeding a 3-year-old?
I think that to add any element of sexualization is absurd. It's offensive. It should be offensive to all parents. The fact that this might not be the pose I would have chosen or that this mother would have chosen, the fact that she chose to put herself in a photo shoot like this, to me, that's not really the issue. I think the issue is that Time has chosen to sensationalize the issue, this whole concept of mom enough, as if attachment parenting thinks that we're better than other people. That's a media-generated argument that's not really existing and has only been divisive, I think, between moms and about parenting. So I think that the issue has gotten off in a lot of different places. But breasts are not made for sexual pleasure alone. They were designed as part of the mammalian system to deliver nurturing, nutrition, and immunological properties to a child.
What do you think of that cover? Are you offended by that cover?
I'm actually more offended because I think it's going to turn people off who probably are already very attachment parenting friendly. I think it's going to make them not want to use that term. You'd be amazed how many people I hear from who say, I had a natural birth, we breastfed, I co-slept for about, 6 months to a year. I don't hit my kids and I believe their voice matters, but I'm not an attachment parenting person. And honestly, you've just defined basically the tenets of attachment parenting. It's pictures like this and it's are you mom enough attitudes about attachment parenting. It's things like this that will turn people off to even understanding more. And honestly, that's why I wrote Beyond the Sling, to show what it literally looks like. I don't think I'm better than other people. I'm far from perfect. But attachment parenting is a decision people make that absolutely is biologically supported. It's not a new style of parenting. It's the way mammals and primates parent, period.
And just to be clear here, what do you find bothersome about the magazine cover? Because it seems as if you are uncomfortable with the magazine cover, as others are as well, but you are an advocate of attached parenting.
Right, and I think that points to the complexity and the sensationalization that's occurred. Even people who breastfeed children this age know that to take an image that is not showing the kind of nurturing aspect that you do see in some of the inside photos, and to place the "are you mom enough," to act like attachment parenting is about you better stay home with your kids or you're not mom enough for us. That's what to me is so confusing, and that's what's confusing to me about the image. It's not conveying really either side clearly. It's meant to sell magazines.
Can you clear up for people who might be ignorant of breastfeeding what that looks like to breastfeed a 3-year-old? Because that magazine cover looks like, you know, very cavalier, very strange in a way. How is that picture inaccurate when it comes to, because you breastfeed a 3-year-old? What does that look like?
Sure. Well, keeping in mind that, you know, my 3-year-old doesn't speak as much as others, but yes, there's absolutely a physical limitation to breastfeeding a 3-year-old the way you would a baby. When my son breastfeeds now, we curl up in a chair and we look at each other, and he looks like the embodiment of comfort and love and security. I write for Kveller.com, which is a parenting website, and I've written about how there is almost no tantrum that I have not been able to soothe and calm down by holding my child in my arms and by breastfeeding them. I'm not saying it only happens if you breastfeed them, but that's what it looks like. It's loving and it's beautiful, and we chose to sleep safely with our children, and at night when Fred would breastfeed as a 3-year-old before he stopped nursing at night, he was in my arms. There's nothing creepy or weird about it. Milk, again, has nutritional and immunological properties into toddlerhood. If you look at when primates breastfeed, it is the equivalent of into toddlerhood. It may not work for everyone, and that's okay. There is nothing physically or biologically or psychologically wrong, though, with breastfeeding until it is no longer mutually desirable, and ending that gently.
All right. Mayim Bialik, thank you so much for your perspective. We really appreciate it.